The premise of the movie is set in the late Qing dynasty in China. One day, a spoiled young man named Wang is taking a stroll in the market alongside his minions. They come across a beggar named Su Can laying on the ground. Wang makes his people assault the beggar for no reason, humiliating him and calling him different names. They bully the poor guy, but he doesn't bother to retaliate. At last, Wang pees on him, asking him to quench his thirst. After they leave, Su Can is left behind in the street, senseless and beaten. He has been living in misery for the past month, but life was different for him before that. The scene cuts to a few months ago. On the same street, Wang and his minions steal a little girl's toy for fun, but this time, they are stopped by Su Can. He is a formal martial arts expert who is turned into a beggar. Even though Su Can's lifestyle is looked down upon, he has gained popularity because of the fighting skills that he frequently showcases. Because of this, he has also gained the title of the leader of beggars. Su Can asks Wang for money, then proceeds to beat up his minions. Eventually, justice is served, and the little girl gets her toy back. Everyone cheers for Su Can, making him the center of attraction. That night, something strange happens in the emperor's residence. A guard loses control of himself and starts attacking the higher officials. His eyes turn milky white and his nails elongate, almost as if an entity has possessed him. The soldiers try their best to stop him, but the man can hardly be touched. The city's councilman, Fuka Yuheng, watches the incident while hiding and praying for his life. Simultaneously, the emperor, unaware of everything, is sleeping in his chamber. He also has a nightmare of someone with long nails beheading his soldiers. The emperor wakes up covered in sweat from the dream and immediately calls Fuka to his chamber. By now, the guard has returned to his normal form and has no memory of what he did. The emperor is informed that the same thing happened to many people in the city. Rumors blame it on a highly contagious virus, but the emperor knows better. To solve the problem, he has to worship heaven for days without meeting anyone from outside. Hence, he asks Fuka to start an investigation and find the root of the problem while he is away. Fuka is confused about where he should start the investigation. Hence, he asks his nephew, Su Can, for help. Su Can's wife, Fei Fei, is the woman of the house. Her orders are absolute that no one can go against. So, when she asks her husband to help Fuka, Su Can has to agree. At the same time, we see a councilman frantically praying in his house. He has been getting nightmares recently and has an eerie feeling in his heart. Suddenly, an invisible force knocks over his bookshelf. The man has locked every door and window in the house with chains and locks. Still, he is paranoid that someone has gotten inside. His fear comes to life when he hears someone whispering. Behind him is a grim, reaper-like man waiting to end his life. Suddenly, the councilman is transported to a dream world where all his colleagues are killed and mounted on poles. He tries running away, but his limbs are caught and trapped. In the end, they are torn apart, and the man is killed in a brutal murder. The next day, Su Can brings Fuka to a brothel with an excuse to investigate. In reality, he is fed up with his wife and wants to have fun with someone else for the night. He lines up a bunch of beautiful women and is making his pick when he hears Fei Fei calling him. Su Can, caught in 4K, quickly makes an exit and pretends to be entering the brothel for the first time. Fei Fei knows that it is only an excuse. Hence, when they get back home, she brings out a whip, looking to teach him a lesson in bed. The following morning, Su Can is informed about another person being possessed and killing guards. He immediately comes to their rescue and once again impresses the people with his fighting skills. However, in the middle of the fight, the rival gets an upper hand and is about to land a fatal attack. Right then enters Sha Jiu, the descendant of Feng Jing religion. He defeats the rival with a single punch, gaining everyone's compliments. He addresses Su Can as master and treats him with respect, but still, Su Can cannot help but feel a hint of jealousy because of Sha Jiu's popularity. Later that day, Su Can is in the market when half of the crowd stops abruptly. They force an attack on the other half, revealing that they have been possessed. Amidst the chaos, Su Can notices the Grim Reaper on top of a roof. He follows the man and ends up in a field where he is attacked. After a brief struggle, the Reaper disappears on his own. Back in the market, Fei Fei is also fighting the possessed, but is about to be killed. Then, Shajiu arrives and defeats every single possessed person. He is praised for saving many lives, but the family of the possessed are in distress. To help them, Shajiu brings their unconscious bodies to his home and performs a ritual. By the end of the ritual, they return to life and are all better. He also reveals that he has been trained in white magic and knows a way to stop the Grim Reaper. Sukan, on the other hand, is furious that Shajiu is getting all the attention. To discredit him, he knocks his uncle out and blames it on Shajiu's magic. But it doesn't take long before the trick is revealed, and he is humiliated in front of everyone. At midnight, Shajiu comes to Sukan's house to talk to him about something important. According to him, the Grim Reaper is a junior who used to learn magic with him a long time ago. He was the best student the school ever had, but was tricked into failing the final test. Everyone in the village apprehended him for cheating, which is why he has returned and is seeking revenge on everyone. Fuka is delighted that they finally have a lead in the case. However, they will have to make a plan to catch the culprit. Later, Sukan sees Fei dying after falling into the river. When he goes to help her, he also drowns and ends up in a hallucination. He wakes up in the morning and realizes he was just dreaming. However, the dream was so vivid that he suspects someone cast a spell on him. Later that day, Wang is troubling people as usual. This time, he takes it too far and has to be stopped by Shajiu. He teaches the bullies a lesson and gains appreciation from bystanders yet again. When it gets dark, people gather in front of a shrine to pray. Fuka pretends to be Sukan to lure the Reaper in. Although he is not so good at acting, the plan works, and the Reaper falls right into their trap. He tries to fight Sukan and kill him, but is in turn killed by Shajiu. The chaos subsides and the killings finally end. In the following scene, everyone is in front of the Emperor, telling him about the progress. Impressed by Shajiu's abilities, he fails to recognize Sukan's role in the mission. Sukan feels humiliated when his presence isn't acknowledged, while Shajiu is asked to stay longer in the palace. Once he is alone with the Emperor, he is asked to check his health using his magic. Shajiu predicts the nightmares are a symptom of heart disease. He assures the Emperor that he has a magical medicine that will make him better in no time. In only a few weeks, Shajiu and the Emperor become inseparable. Shajiu's position in the council rises, and he becomes the general of the palace. His disciples also gain extra respect in society. People offer them free food and services because of their master. Then, one night, Fuka calls Sukan outside for an important task. But as they talk, he addresses Sukan as Master Su. It turns out the person in front of him is Shajiu, wearing Fuka's face. He discloses that he is the actual Grim Reaper who has been controlling everyone in the town with his magic for the past few months. Even though he is from a respected family, he was humiliated by the villagers 10 years ago and has been longing to take revenge ever since. Now that he is just steps away from being the Emperor, he has to kill Sukan first and seal the deal. Before Sukan can comprehend anything, Shajiu casts a spell on him. They are taken to an imaginary world where Shajiu is a giant. He attacks Sukan, but the beggar takes advantage of his size and narrowly makes an escape. To cast out of the spell, Sukan uses a unique dragon technique and lands an attack. They return to the real world, but the battle continues. Sukan is physically stronger, but in front of Shajiu's spells, he is left weakened. Shajiu wants him to suffer, so instead of killing him, he breaks his ankles and curses him to live like an actual beggar for the rest of his life. At the same time, a troop sent by Shajiu attacks the beggar base and kills everyone. Fei fights for her life, but eventually suffers the same fate as the others. In the morning, Sukan returns and finds out that everyone he ever loved has died. He holds Fei and breaks into tears. The only person on his side is Fuka, who is thankfully away when the place was attacked. Enraged by the sight, he goes to the palace to ask for justice. But even the guards are on Shajiu's side, and he is no longer allowed inside. Cut to a month after the incident, Shajiu's curse has fulfilled itself, and Sukan is turned into a miserable beggar. The people who once used to look up to him now refuse to come near him. Wang uses the situation to teach Sukan a lesson. He and his minions take turns peeing on the poor man. Still, Sukan doesn't fight back and is numb to their insults. When he is at his lowest, Fuka finds him and brings him back to his home. He has also lost his job and is in bad financial condition. He eats leftovers from restaurants and brings the same for his nephew. Eventually, Shajiu's disciples start showing their true faces. They demand free goods and assault everyone who refuses to obey them. People who were on Shajiu's side before start dreading his rule. That night, Sukan drinks several bottles of alcohol and decides to commit the unthinkable. He is about to jump off a bridge when a stranger saves him. It is none other than his consciousness, who wants him to return to his normal self and avenge his wife's death. In the morning, Sukan wakes up with renewed motivation and a will to take revenge. Meanwhile, Shajiu's people go on a rampage and destroy businesses for not offering them money. A little girl goes against them, but they do not hesitate to threaten her as well. Just when she is about to get hurt, Sukan arrives and beats everyone, turning into the town's hero again. In the meantime, the Emperor has gotten a hint of what Shajiu is planning. He also finds out the medicine he is being fed is what causes him intense nightmares. However, he is too weak to fight against Shajiu, who has all the palace guards on his side. Suddenly, Sukan arrives in the palace. Having tricked all the guards and the security system, Shajiu asks everyone to stay away, wanting to defeat Sukan on his own. An intense battle follows, where Sukan surprisingly overpowers Shajiu. All the pain and frustration he has gone through in the past month comes flowing out of him. He gets a hold of Shajiu's throat and is about to kill him, but the magician uses another spell to turn into Fei-Fei. This sets Sukan back a little, but he quickly recovers, remembers all the times that she whipped him, and surprises him with a counterattack. At last, Shajiu is thrown into the fire and killed. Shajiu's followers are agitated at their master's death, but before they can attack, Sukan's supporters arrive and fight them. In the last scene, Sukan is in the streets, continuing his life as a normal beggar. Then, one day, he sees a girl who looks exactly like Fei-Fei. The movie ends as she offers him a piece of bread. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.